So, I really have no words for the story time I'm about to tell today. Other than I'm an idiot, a moron, a dumbass, whatever word you want to use to call me stupid, that's what I would use for this. Yeah, the story time's a interesting one. It's one of those ones where I'm just like, dude, I'm a moron. I'm a freaking idiot. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do. And yeah, dude, let's get into it. So today's story time all takes place back when I was 18. I had just turned 18. Now around this time, my YouTube was popping off. Things were going good, great even. And around this time, I was getting really into CSGO. Actually, I'd probably been into CSGO for a while now, but this was like when I was uploading it consistently to my channel a lot, like surfing and stuff like that. And this was around the time where I had a bunch of knives. I was like collecting them on CS. I had the karambits, the butterflies, the huntsmans, pretty much every knife you could think of. I was trying to get my hands on and use it for a surf video. And I was really obsessed with it, right? Now, I still love CS. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I still play it very consistently, probably at least 3 to 4 times a week. I do think CSGO is a little better than CS2, but CS2 is still really fun, and I still love it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah, around this time, I was really into CSGO, right? And also around this time, there was this like trend going on where companies would make realistic CSGO knives. Like they would take the patterns and the skins from the game and put them on, a real life karambit or butterfly knife. And you could buy it online, or they'd send them to you if you were a YouTuber, stuff like that. And I remember one day I was in my bed on Twitter and I get this DM from this company, right? And it's one of these companies that makes like, realistic CSGO knives, right? And they DM me on Twitter and they're like, hey, Luna, we're big fans of your channel. We were wondering if you wanted a care package. We could send you some realistic CS knives. Maybe you could show them off on a stream or something, or just have them around the house. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, that sounds fucking sick. So naturally, I DM'd them my address and I told them to send them on through whenever. And about, a week or two later, I got a package from the company. Now, it took me a few weeks to actually open the package up. I just had it on my kitchen table for a while because I just got sidetracked and kind of forgot about them. When one night, I was really bored. I was on Skype or Discord. Can't remember which one we were using at the time. But I was on a call with a bunch of my friends, right? And one of my friends was like, yo, do you have those realistic CS knives yet? Because I had told my friends about it like earlier in the month. And I was like, yeah, dude, I got the package. I haven't opened it yet. It's just sitting on my kitchen table. I kind of got sidetracked and forgot about it. He's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, go grab them. Like, do a webcam unboxing right now. So I turned my webcam on. I ran out in the kitchen, grabbed the big box, brought it into my room, and I started unboxing these CSGO knives in real life for all of my friends on webcam, right? Now, upon opening them, they were fucking sick, dude. They looked super realistic, super cool, and also, these were like no shit real knives. Like these weren't just some like display knife that wasn't sharp. Like these were very real knives, very real. And I remember like when I opened one of the karambits, one of the first ones I opened, I poked the blade with my like pointer finger to see if it was real and instantly like cut my finger. And I was like, oh shit, okay, that's a real knife. So anyway, I ended up opening all of them on camera, and they're all really cool, and they sent me one of every knife that was in the game at that time. I think it was a karambit, a butterfly, M9, bayonet. I think the Bowie knife was in the game at the time. I think they sent one of those too. I can't remember, but it was every single knife. I know that. And they all had cool different patterns. One of them was a marble fade. One of them was like a Doppler. They had all the cool patterns, right? Now you're probably wondering, Austin, why the fuck are you telling me about this, dude? Like, who gives a shit about your stupid CSGO knives in real life? Well, don't worry, man. It gets more interesting, trust me. So later that night, after me and my boys played CS for a good 1 to 2 hours, I start getting really tired and really out of it. And I'm just not in the mood to be on my computer anymore. So I was like, yo guys, I'm gonna check out for the night. I'm gonna go to bed. I'll catch y'all tomorrow, all right? And they were all like, okay, have a good night, Austin. And I hung up with them and I laid down on my bed and I just started scrolling Twitter. Because at this time, TikTok didn't exist yet. Vine got banned, so I didn't have any short form brain rot to, nourish my brain with. So I'm just scrolling Twitter. Well, if there's one thing you guys should know about me, I fidget a lot. If I'm at my desk and I'm watching a video or doing anything really, and my hands are free, I'm grabbing something and I'm playing with it. Pause. But if there's a bottle cap on my desk, right now I'm holding a bottle cap where I record this, and I'm just squeezing it and moving around my hands because I like to fidget. Yeah, not gonna lie, I miss the era of fidget spinners because those were really fun to like spin around when I had nothing to do. But yeah, fidgets and shit, it's fun. So I thought, okay, I'm in bed, I'm scrolling Twitter, I'm gonna like play with one of these knives I just got, which when I say it out loud, it sounds pretty fucking stupid. But yeah, I'm just in my bed on my phone and I'm flipping the karambit around on my other hand like a CSGO surfer, and I'm scrolling Twitter, like replying to tweets and shit, while on my other hand, I'm flipping around the fucking karambit like I'm doing a kitsune run. And it's just, I'm chilling. I'm loving it, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're expecting. You're probably like, oh, here we go. He's going to like flip the knife off his hand and stab himself in the face on accident or something. No, that's not what happens. I actually did not hurt myself while I was playing with the knife. I did hurt myself about 45 minutes later, but we'll get to that. So yeah, I'm just in my bed, still scrolling Twitter, still flipping the knife around on my hand, when all of a sudden, my phone starts ringing. And it's none other than my ex-girlfriend at the time. Now, typically, if a call from my ex comes up on my caller ID, I'm ignoring that shit. I'm not answering it. But this specific ex, I hadn't talked to in a long time, and we didn't end things on bad terms. So I thought, okay, if she's calling me, it's probably an emergency, or she probably really needs me for something. So let me like see what's up. So I answered the phone. I was like, hello. And sure enough, she sounds like distraught. She sounds like she just like got told the worst news of her life. I could tell she was crying. And essentially, she goes on to tell me that one of her best friends just got hit by a car, and like it was really bad. And she was like getting rushed to the hospital, and she was just standing there, didn't know what to do. And essentially, yeah, they were bringing her friend to the hospital, and she had to like go through emergency surgery or some shit. And she had no one to talk to, and she was really anxious about it. So naturally, I talked to her about it, because that's got to be a really shitty thing to go through, witnessing one of your best friends get hit by a car and be in serious condition. Like, that's not good. That's very, very scary. So of course I talked to her for as long as she needed. We actually didn't talk for too long. We only talked for about 20 minutes because her mom ended up calling her, and she told me she'd call me back later or something. So yeah, I hung up with her, told her good luck. And after that, I was just laying in my bed, flipping the knife around my hand still. It was specifically the Karambit Marble Fade. Now at this point, I'm not on my phone, I'm not talking to anybody, my phone's on my chest, and I'm just flipping the knife around my hand, right? And as I'm flipping this knife around my hand, I start getting more tired and more tired and more tired, and I start kind of like closing my eyes a little bit, and I start slowly like stopping the knife from flipping, and I'm getting sleepy, right? I'm about to pass out. And just as I'm about to pass out, and just as I'm about to put the knife on the coffee table next to my bed and away from me, my ex texts me, and she's like, hey, just want to say thank you again. You're a good person. I appreciate your support. Like, I'll call you a little bit later or something if you're still awake. And I put the knife down next to me in my bed, like right next to me, because I thought to myself, like, okay, I'll put the knife right next to me. I'll send this reply, then I'll grab it and put it on the coffee table, right? Yeah, pretty stupid. Should have just put it right on the coffee table to begin with, but anyway. I send the text message, and I put my phone down, and next thing I know, I'm asleep. Yeah, I fell right asleep after sending that text message. So that means I fell asleep with a Karambit sharp knife in my bed, cuddled up next to me. And I look back on this, I'm like, dude, why did I not put it on the fucking table next to my bed? And anyway, I fell asleep with the knife next to me, right? And I wake up 20 minutes later, and there is blood all over my bed. It looked like a fucking crime scene, dude. It looked like a horror movie. I thought I died. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like, in the movies or like TV shows where like someone dies in their sleep or like in their bed, and then like their spirit wakes up in their bed out of their body. That's what I thought happened. I was like, yo, did I just wake up like from my body and I'm like looking down at the crime scene? But no, I sat myself up in bed. I like flicked my light on, saw how much blood there really was in my bed, and then realized there was a Karambit literally inside my body. It was like stabbing me in the shoulder and neck, like right between the two. And it was not good looking. It was terrifying. And I felt it and it hurt. And I was like, oh shit, I stabbed myself in my sleep. Now, immediately I jumped up out of bed, and luckily around this time I was still living with my mom, and I hadn't moved out yet to LA, or got like my own apartment or anything. So I ran into my mom's room with this fucking knife in me still. And I was like, Mom, I stabbed myself in my sleep. And she wakes up and she's like, what? And she flicks the light on and she's like, holy fuck, what'd you do? And I was like, I fell asleep with the knife next to me. I stabbed myself. Like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I'm freaking out, right? Like, I'm tweaking because it doesn't feel good. It's literally in my skin still. And I want to pull it out, but I've always been told if you have, shrapnel or like a stab wound, you don't pull it out because you might cause more bleeding and, it might end up making things worse. So I just was abiding by that rule. So my mom looks at it and she's like, what the fuck did you do? Like, how did this happen? And I was like, I don't know. I think I rolled over in my sleep and like it must have gotten like pinched between me and it stabbed me. And she's like, all right, get in the car. We're going to the hospital now. So I grabbed a towel to like help, contain the mess and the bleeding. I jumped in her passenger seat. She jumped in the car and we drive to the hospital together. And immediately I walk in the ER and like the lady that checks people in, she sees it in my like shoulder/neck and she goes, oh, follow me. So she brings me right back to her room like immediately. Doesn't even like take my information like they usually do before bringing you back. She just brought me right back to a doctor and like they put me into a room and immediately the doctor came in and he's like, what did you do? And I was like, I fell asleep with it in my bed. He goes, why did you have a knife in your bed? Like, it's a knife, not a teddy bear. Like, you don't sleep with it. You don't cuddle with it. I was like, I know it was an accident. I was playing with it. And I know that doesn't sound good either, but I was playing with it, like flipping it around my finger. And then I fell asleep and I must have rolled over it or something and pinched it between my neck and my shoulder and it stabbed me. And he's like, okay, like, all right, let me take a look. And he's looking at it and like the nurses are all surrounding me and they're all looking at me with like this terrified look on their face. It was not a good situation. Like, I felt like I really fucked up here. Probably because I really fucked up. But the look they were giving me, I thought I was going to die. Like, genuinely. And I remember at one point I looked at the doctor and I was like, am I going to die? And he goes, no, you're not going to die, buddy. Don't worry. So what they ended up doing is they knocked my ass out. They like gave me anesthesia and they removed it while I was asleep. After I woke up, they told me it actually wasn't as deep as they thought it was, which is good. That's good news. I was happy I was like knocked out for it because like I don't think I would have wanted to be awake to see that get removed. Not sure if they even would have let me be awake. I don't know. But I woke up and it was out of my shoulder. Also, the doctor told me, one of the surgeons, he was like, you got so lucky. Because if I would have laid on it like any deeper or like, gotten like stabbed from a different angle, I guess there's a pretty important artery or something nearby that it could have hit. And I wouldn't have been so lucky, to say the least. But luckily, I got very lucky. It didn't go that deep. It was a pretty minor like removal. They stitched me up. I was okay. I didn't have to like get physical therapy or anything. And the doctor told me like, don't play with knives anymore. They're not toys and don't sleep with them. Like, please don't do that. And I laughed about it. And I was like, don't worry. Like, I won't, I promise. And anyway, after that happened, right, he was actually asking me, he's like, that knife's really cool. Like, where'd you get it? And I told him, I was like, oh, it's from a game called CSGO. Like, I, got it from a company. And he was like, wait a minute, like Counter-Strike? And this doctor knew what CS was. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, man, I used to play Counter-Strike Source all the time on my computer. And I was like, yeah, man. And we were just talking about CS for a little bit. But anyway, yeah, all the doctors, the nurses, the surgeon, like they were really cool. They were all actually like very, very cool. And they were very quick, which was nice. I didn't have it in my shoulder/like neck area for long. I'm just happy I didn't die because that would have been a really bad way to go out. Can you imagine I die while my YouTube channel is blowing up for CSGO surf like storytime videos and like I died because I cuddled with a real life CSGO karambit and accidentally stabbed myself? Like that would have been the most ridiculous like headline ever. And it would have been such an embarrassing death. Anyway, story time isn't completely done here. After this, my mom took me home. At this point, it was like the next morning. And I got some sleep. I woke up, told my friends about it in our group chat. They all laughed and called me an idiot and then said they were happy I'm okay. And then I had a choice. I was like, okay, do I get up and I tell this story time like today and like have this banger recent story, but also humiliate myself? Or do I like wait and see if I really want to talk about it? And I chose to wait. And I just waited and waited and waited. And honestly, I wasn't going to tell this story because of how embarrassing it was and how stupid I felt. But like, come on, man. Most of my story times usually involve me being an idiot and doing something stupid. So this one's not like, you know, that out of the ordinary for me, I feel like. But yeah, moral of this story is, obviously, don't play with weapons, don't play with knives or any weapon. Don't fall asleep with them next to you. That is just about like one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever done. And yeah, that's it. Oh, also I told my ex about it after it happened and she was like, what the fuck? Like you were in the hospital too? So 2 people she knew had to go to the ER that night. Oh, and by the way, her friend was okay. Forgot to mention that. Her friend was all good. She recovered fully within like 6 months. She was good. So yeah. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the story time. All in all, everything was okay. I don't even really have a scar, so that's nice. That'd be a really like awkward scar to explain to people. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the story. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
I got a switchblade.